Hello guys, in this video I'm going to be analysing the physique of Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter. We don't see a whole lot of his physique except for a few fan service shots, which are the ones I'm going to be using in this video, but it's pretty impressive from what we do see. And I also think it's reasonably achievable for natural lifters, unlike most anime physiques. Starting from the top as usual, his neck and traps are not massive, but he still has a solid neck, like it's not skinny or anything. And then perhaps most importantly, he has really good shoulders, like the kind of shoulders you'd see on like a basketball player or a boxer, someone who uses their shoulders a lot in their sport, in his case, like martial arts and fighting. He also has a really solid chest, doesn't bulge out too much, but it's definitely a very good chest. His biceps are pretty impressive. His triceps are nothing to write home about, so they're not that important. We're going to focus much more on the biceps. Forearms are decent. Clearly his abs are amazing. He has like an 8 or a 10 pack, which genetically most people just don't have an 8 pack or a 10 pack. You'll have 4 or 6 abs generally. His lats are like not crazy, but they'll really help with the V taper, which is basically the most important part of this physique besides the shoulders. When he's wearing clothes, he always has these massive shoulder pads and his tiny little waist, and that kind of really exaggerated V taper is pretty important. So we want really low body fat to get that tiny waist. Like you can basically see his pelvic bone, he's that like lean and his waist is that small. Legs really don't matter that much for this physique because you don't really see them a lot. So we're just going to do minimal leg training, and it's also going to be important to be very lean for this physique. As you can see, like his abs are just popping, there's like no fat on him, and his face is super defined as well, which comes from having a low body fat. So overall this is like a really lean, athletic kind of basketball player kind of physique, not like a big bulky guts or something like that. Hisoka's muscles aren't huge, but his leanness makes him look much bigger, and there are certain muscles we're going to focus on: the shoulders, the chest, the biceps, the abs, which are going to need to be really developed. And to wrap it all together, we have that low body fat to make everything look much more defined. So getting into the program, for this one I have done a 3-day-a-week program and 2 days of conditioning plus an optional day of conditioning, because we really want to get down to that low body fat percentage, and a good way to shred fat off you is to do some kind of cardio, which will allow you to be in a caloric deficit easier than if you were inactive. On Monday, starting off with the most important muscle group, the shoulders, we're going to do a heavy overhead press. There's really no better exercise for developing the front delts especially, but like the shoulders as a whole, as vertical pressing, overhead pressing. Next is 3 sets of 8 reps on the squat. I said we're going to do minimal leg training, so this is part of that. We don't want to neglect legs entirely, because training legs increases your testosterone, your growth hormone, and that makes it much easier to grow all the other muscles in your body. And you don't want disproportionately small legs compared to your upper body. Then weighted chin-ups, 3 sets of 8 reps. This is mostly going to be for the biceps. Lats are kind of important, but biceps are really more important for this physique. And then 3 sets of as many reps as possible on the push-up. This is for the chest, just to get blood flowing into the chest and getting a really nice pump. After that is lateral raises for the side delts. This is a pretty important exercise for this physique because his side delts are very wide. That's like important for the V taper and having that huge shoulder look. And then you're going to finish off with hanging knee raises, 3 sets of as many reps as possible for the abs. Tuesday is a conditioning day. You could do something like running or swimming. Swimming would be really good, especially for the shoulders. Boxing, also good for the shoulders. You could do cycling, walking on an inclined treadmill. All of these are really good. I think I would recommend swimming or boxing because while also burning fat, they're going to be developing the shoulders as well. On Wednesday, we're starting with bench press. 3 sets of 10 reps, pretty moderate rep range. This is obviously for the front delts, the chest, and the triceps. Triceps are not super important, so we're not going to isolate them in this program, but they should get enough volume from all the pressing you're doing. After that is barbell rowing for the lats and a little bit for the biceps. Then a goblet squat, fairly high reps, just for the legs again, get the blood flowing into the legs. And then dumbbell curls, quite high reps for the biceps, getting blood flowing into the biceps, getting a massive pump. And then finishing off with very high rep lateral raises for the side delts again. The reason I've got 2 different rep ranges for the lateral raises, 3x10 on Monday and 3x20 on Wednesday, is because it's good to train the same muscle group in different rep ranges. If you just train in a low rep range, your body's going to get used to that, and the adaptations it makes are not going to be as significant. So if you switch it up and do like a much higher rep range, then it's going to have something to adapt to because it's not used to this new stimulus. This is why it's good to include low reps, medium reps, and high reps. On Thursday, another conditioning day, so another day of like swimming or boxing or running or something. And then on Friday, overhead press again, slightly higher reps this time because we covered the low reps on Monday. And then trap bar deadlift, because regular deadlift, really not much benefit for this physique, but trap bar deadlift, you get all the strength, the posture benefits, the general health benefits, grip strength, all that stuff that you would get from a normal deadlift, and it's a bit safer than a normal deadlift. And then dumbbell bench press for the chest again. After that is a barbell curl or an easy bar curl. So this is kind of your heavy bicep work for the week, besides the weighted chin-ups. Personally, I like using an easy bar curl because it's much easier on my wrists. And after that is weighted sit-ups 3 times as many reps as you can. Sit-up is a classic ab exercise, and doing it weighted just makes it harder. You can progressively overload it like any other regular exercise. Instead of just doing like more and more reps, you can add weight to this. And then finishing off with inverted rows, which are great for the back, the biceps, and the forearms. And then on Saturday is the last day of conditioning, or you could take a day off if you don't want to do any more conditioning, and then Sunday is a rest day. I would say this physique is fairly achievable using calisthenics as well. So if you do a lot of push-ups, handstand push-ups, pike push-ups, pull-ups and chin-ups for the back and the biceps, lots of ab workouts to get the 8-pack obviously, and then throw in some squats and lunges and stuff for the legs. And if you do all of those 3 or 4 times a week, high volume, quite a lot of reps, you're going to have a pretty good physique. And if you are in a calorie deficit as well, you're going to be very lean, and you're going to get close to looking like Hisoka after, months or years of training. I always like to include a couple extra tips at the end of these videos, so I'm just going to talk about recovery a little bit. You should definitely stretch after your workouts. This is going to mean you're much less sore the next day, you're less likely to get injured, you're going to be able to work out more because you're not sore. But maybe the best way to recover is active recovery, which is just getting blood into all the muscles that you've used by going for a swim or a walk, or doing some like dynamic stretching and light exercise with the muscles you've used. Maybe you could use resistance bands, but getting blood into the muscles is really going to help them recover more than like using ice on them or stretching them excessively, that kind of thing. Athletes really need to get like 9 to 10 hours of sleep a night. I know that's not feasible for a lot of people, but at least like 7 to 9 hours, especially if you're working out intensely and you're trying to build muscle, you need a lot of sleep, because sleep is when the muscle is built. If you break down your muscle in the gym and then you don't give it enough sleep or food in order to repair that muscle, then you're just going to be losing muscle, tiring yourself out, and not really gaining anything out of it. And on the topic of food, make sure you get enough calories to fuel your workouts. But since this is like such a lean, low body fat physique, you don't need to get huge, so you don't need to go in like a massive caloric surplus. As long as you're progressing in the movements, you're seeing your body fat drop, and you're happy with the progress your muscles are making, then you can eat at just maintenance or just above or below maintenance, depending on what works for you. But definitely make sure you get enough protein. 0.8 grams per pound of body weight is recommended. So if you're a 200-pound man, then you're going to want 160 grams of protein per day. But I imagine most of the people watching aren't going to be that big. Hisoka's not like a huge man, so probably somewhere between 120 to 150 grams of protein per day is going to be good for most of you. If you've seen my video on Toji's physique and you're interested in the complete guide to achieving Toji Fushigaro's physique, including a physique analysis and weightlifting or calisthenics training programs tailored to suit your needs and efficiently maximize muscle growth, check out the link at the top of the description. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know if this is the kind of physique you like, or if you prefer the big, bulky, like Yujiro type. And also let me know which other physiques you'd like to see covered in the comments.